off-season edition, training camp edition of
Off-season.
Shooting It with Schumann.
Mike and I are wearing our training camp shorts today, right? Because we don't want to be in the pants and the full gear yet, right?
Although I'm representing today.
Yeah, you do.
Appreciate that.
So gosh, man, it feels like a long off season.
It did.
We have
Lots happened.
a lot has happened, and I think let's just get into it, okay? It's
I think we should start with the head coach in the wreck.
yes, it's on the list. So a
Okay.
lot of research done, in the off season. So we've got Kyle Shanahan in a controversial crash, and it looks like he probably is going to be out a couple weeks for not be the coach. And I think there's going to be some assistants taken over. So
You think Kyle goes to Australia?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
okay.
think so. Yeah, even if he can't do it on the field, he's going to go, I think. And we were talking about it pre-show that we've all dropped our phones down in the seat. And everybody knows better than to try to get that
Sure.
phone out. You just
Yeah.
pull over and do it. So he's and looks up, hits somebody. And I was telling Nick, at 20 miles an hour, you don't break 3 ribs, your hand, your nose, and have 40 stitches in your eye.
Those airbags are powerful,
Yeah,
right?
well, if you're leaning over like that, maybe. But and then they don't report it for 12 days. I can understand that. Chris Sims knew, Adam Schefter knew. They didn't report it. That's not journalism.
You
all
know,
right.
I think the
And-
Niners are very good at holding secrets. Nobody knew about this Ayuk thing either. Like, how do they keep this stuff from getting out?
Well, over the years, they've had trouble with that.
Okay.
So and
Because they had Mike Schumann reporting, probably.
Yeah, right. But I'm just happy Kyle's okay. He
Yeah.
admitted that, in the police report, there was nobody at fault. He admitted he's at fault, so he's going to pay for the damage. And so I think we almost just leave it at that, because we're not going to find out anymore on it. I don't think.
Does his Tesla have self-driving? And was he not using it? Or was he using self-driving and that's what caused the
That
wreck?
could have been it too. And I didn't even think about that. Tony Romo, he needs to get a Tesla and put it on self-driving.
Him and Tiger,
or,
Tony, right?
or Uber,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just at this point, I think these guys feel immortal, and we're not saying Kyle was drinking or anything like that, but the whole thing was just very suspicious, and I don't know. What do you guys think?
What do you think, Nick? Is it going to affect the team?
I don't see how it does not. I mean, he's such an important part of the offensive game plan, the play calling. We do not have a lot of continuity as far as offensive coaching.
And lost
goes.
a lot of those coaches to head coaching jobs.
We tend to, recycle a lot of those guys. Salah's not there. Again, you got a new DC. I'm sure he wants to, have influence on Morris and that side of the ball. So it's terrible timing. It's terrible, person. I think Kyle is probably very, very slow to give up any control. And so, to have, there's just no way he would have prepared for, if I'm out, this is what we do.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think I absolutely will have an impact. My only thing is, how quick can he be back? We don't know.
I think that, in the past, if Salah was there, because he's got some head coaching experience, I think this would have been a different equation. Even though Morris does have some, head coaching experience with Atlanta, right? I think that not having Salah in the building is going to affect this thing a lot. And I think you're right. I think Kyle, he just won't give up any offensive coordinator play calling capabilities to anybody. So I think it is going to affect them for the first couple of games. Hopefully it's not a long-term thing and it won't affect them the whole season, but at least preseason in the first couple of games.
At least we don't have a new quarterback, right?
Yeah, well,
Rod's not learning a new system.
Well, he's not going to call his own plays, though. And I couldn't even tell you who will be calling the plays if Kyle's not there. Because Forrester, who's taken over as
He's
the
not.
assistant, it won't be
Yeah,
him.
it'll be-
And I've just seen a couple of press conferences with him, and
Wouldn't it be the younger Kubiak?
yeah, that's what I'm thinking because
Yeah.
they lost one of them
Yeah.
to the head coaching. And then speaking of Salah, real quick, from just out of nowhere, he saw had 13 injuries already in training camp in 6 days. And Salah said, just out of nowhere, he said, "I just can't believe that electrical substation, doesn't have something to do with this." After they thought it was all gone,
Yeah.
they had it cleared away last year, and now it's back. So you get a new guy, Mike Evans. He's got a quad.
small quad strain, right?
Yeah, and then the quad is your brakes, on your and you have all these minor little injuries in training camp normally, especially with receivers and hamstrings and quads. So, but
Well, we can't blame Kyle
no,
for
and
the injuries. 'cause
well, they've been top 10 in injuries for the last 10 years,
everyone in the Kyle era.
and then Kyle gets
except for
hurt.
one.
It was
Guy
like
gets hurt.
it
Yeah.
was like the irony
Substation
of
caused the
this.
wreck, I think.
Listen, I think these are two of the top headlines. Obviously, Kyle getting in this car accident and maybe not being able to coach the first couple games. And then this injury bug, it just continues to haunt the 49ers. I mean, obviously, Ricky Pershaw out for the year. So Mike Evans got a quad. All these guys are getting banged up. I haven't looked at the injury reports. Probably more guys.
Ricky Pearsall's injury happened in a game, right, where he got
Game
tackled.
4 last year.
Now, so you can't really blame that one on the substation per se. I want to know, how the hell do we have a guy get hurt in September of last year and just now, a year later, get surgery?
All right, I had the same injury, your posterior crucius, and one in the back of your knee. And it's like a drawer. Your leg comes out like this, and you tear it, and you let scar tissue fill in the gaps, all right? He was only out 4 weeks. I was out 10 weeks before I came back. And his never really got a chance to fill in those scar tissues. He continued to play. Then in the offseason, because he finished the season, I think he felt like, because all you can do is strengthen your quads and then, the backside. And there really wasn't a surgery. And John Lynch had the same thing. He talked about it. There was no surgery back then because enough blood doesn't get behind the knee. Now, if you have to have it done, it's a total reconstruction. Mm-hmm. So I hate, I hope it works out for him.
So the thought was, even after the season, just wait.
Rest a little bit. And he should have rested longer. So I put this on the 49ers medical staff.
For pushing him back.
Yeah, because players make too much money now. Back when I was playing, you're not coming off the field unless you can't walk because, we're only making, they can find somebody easily to back you up. So I think it was a little bit of mismanagement on the training staff of the 49ers. Ricky not, knowing his body well enough to say, hey, something's not right here. Yeah. Or he just wanted to keep hiding it and see if he could do it when he got in camp. It blew up on him. And now he's done, So, and I'm not going to say his career might be over, but that's a tough. I don't even know what that surgery is like because it's pretty relatively new that they're doing it. So,
yeah, he's a young player. Hopefully, maybe he can come back.
But he's had nothing but trouble for 3 years. He's been injured.
Never injured in college.
I know. I read
Substation. Could be.
And so it goes right back to that. You can't help but keep going back to that.
So
he also got shot. I don't know if that was the substation.
Yeah, Ricky's has had some bad luck. So that being said, Ricky's out. We bring back Deebo Samuel. Now, Mike brought up the point, and I think Nick did too, that, when he got paid the first time, he may have gained a couple of money pounds. He got fat.
230.
Right? Yeah, let's not beat around the bush. He got fat. But the good thing about Deebo, I think, he's a locker room guy, right? And I think the Niners love him. I think he's
unless he's holding out. But yes. He's been a leader. As far as he's one of the first guys with the boombox.
Yeah, he's got the box.
But he also has had issues. He slapped the long snapper in the face on the sideline. He's had
Moody deserved that.
Yeah. But he's had different issues. So I wouldn't jump on him being a great locker room guy. And it's always tough to come back to a team you used to play for. And I also went through that. I blew out my knee. They tried to snake me through waivers. Tampa claimed me, finished the year down there, and then came back to the Niners in the offseason. Actually, it was right before the season. And Sam Weitz pulled me aside and said, hey, it's not like it used to be. You're no longer the starter. Dwight Clark is now the starter, so you're our third guy. And basically sat me down and told me what my role was. So Deebo, now that Ricky's gone, he's probably going to be the starter.
Yeah.
And you put Stribling, the young kid, in the slot, and Mike Evans out at X. So there's your, I think, starting 3 receivers coming into the season. So
where do you think Kirk fits in all this?
He's got a calf now. Cowlings is due. This is it for him. If he doesn't show up,
he just lost his number.
He just has speed.
Deebo just said, hey, I'm taking your number.
He just has speed, So if he doesn't return punts or kickoffs, he's not going to make this team this year. So, and Jordan Watkins, a young player who played well last year. What's the other kid? Robinson. DeMarcus Robinson had he's a veteran player. So I think they're okay at that position. And then the young running back from Indiana's already hurt, Black.
Black.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just how can this? You're like 13 players already on the injured list.
So
And
we
they've
have
only hit once
yeah.
in practice.
So we've talked a lot about the offense here. We've talked about Shanahan. I think this year, with a couple of acquisitions coming back, I think the defense is going to have to hold the fort until maybe some of these offensive guys get back. So, Nick, what do you think about the defense this year? Greenlaw looks pretty active in camp. Hopefully, he can help with that linebacker role. But I think the defensive line.
My favorite offseason acquisition was Ozzy Adigweze, right?
You've been working on that name.
I'm telling you.
We got
Pronunciation.
finally got a D tackle with
Right.
an inside pass rush, something we haven't had since DeForest Buckner,
Wow.
which I still feel like
Wow.
was the worst transaction we've made in the John Lynch era, was getting rid of Buckner and signing Armstead and drafting Kinlaw to replace Buckner. But this guy, if you look at his pass rush win rate, not a great run stuffer, but from an inside pass rusher, he is a disruptor, high motor guy, freak athlete. We traded a 3rd-round pick for him, locked him up to a pretty reasonable salary. So I love this move. I feel like we need more. I mean, we were worst in the league last year at pass rush.
That's true. And it frees up Boza.
100%.
Of course, we don't know what he's going to look like.
Yeah.
Yet, so
He looks jacked already. He's
no,
ready
he
to go.
does. Man, he does. I've never seen legs on anybody
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, though. That's where they really had been struggling in the past. So, and they're going to play a little bit of different defense. You know, they're lining up at 4-3, 5-2. You know, so Raheem Morris is going to kind of move everybody around and use his players. You know, and you got Warner and the kid we were just talking about, Greenlaw back.
Yeah.
I mean, that was probably the best tandem in the NFL. We can
Would
keep
agree.
them both healthy. So,
Would agree. The other thing about Morris is Niners got a lot of slack for not making any moves in the secondary, right? You're keeping Green,
who's having a great camp.
was not was a little bit in the doghouse end of the year, though.
Right.
And then the safeties haven't been very impressive. So he's really been a DB guy, right? Morris is. He must have said, hey, I like the talent we already have. They took a couple flyers on some veteran guys.
Right.
So we'll see Nate Hobbs, Jack Jones, who's the other one? Ashton Davis. Like we got some old school kind of vet minimum DBs coming in. We just need one of those guys to hit,
Well,
right?
that
be
and
a good
if
player.
a younger player, if they go with Sigel or the younger safeties, Mustafa, you know, if they do get hurt, you got a veteran who can come in. You know, so it's time for them also to start developing these young players. Kyle's he hadn't really been great at that, sort of like Steve Kerr of the Warriors. And because if you start, let's see, McCaffrey, Evans, Kittle, Debo, and who else is it? 5 players over
Kurt.
30. Yeah, 5.
We old.
5 players over 30 years old. It's the oldest team in the league. So
And he got Trent Williams at
and
left
Trent,
tackle.
yeah, he's
right?
really bringing the average.
Yeah.
But this is kind of, I don't want to say the last run. We've been saying this for 5 years with this group that they've got to either make a run now or it's time to move forward.
Well, I think that's inevitable, right? I mean,
So-
if this is a championship run or
And a roster, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just keeping
So
everybody.
it's a
healthy.
win now roster. And I think they made win now type of transactions, right? You don't go sign Mike Evans, you know,
No.
unless you're trying to win.
Well, he gives you
immediately.
red zone presence. You know, and as tall and as good as Jennings was, he just really didn't give you that presence down there inside the 20.
He's not an outside route runner.
No,
right?
he's
not
not.
going to win on
No,
the
it's
on
not.
the
Where
outside of
Evans,
the
you just
hashes.
throw it up and he'll get it. You know, it's a 50-50 ball.
So last year we spent a bunch of time. It felt like it was a lot of quarterback talk, right? We had Brock Purdy, we had Jones. Is he coming in? Purdy had a lot of games missed last year. This year, not a lot of talk about Brock, right? I mean, I think he's hopefully healthy, ready to come in there and lead this offense. I mean, if he can go back to 2 years ago, Brock, right? That was
Yeah.
very
Right.
consistent before he was, he had that knee injury and kind of was overthrowing guys.
Right.
The offense could look a lot better, and hopefully he can manage that game. So, I mean, it's gonna be very interesting to see with all those guys.
But with the offense, one thing that we really, really lacked last year was the yak, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of been a staple of Kyle's offense. We're always top 3, top 5.
Debo and
We were-
IU gave you.
We were 0
Right.
last year. We were last in the league in yak. I think we got some heat for Stribling and Black for those draft picks where they took them. But I think that's why we took them, right? Kyle sees these are guys that if I get the ball to them in space, they're going to be electric with the ball. So I think we get back to at least being, more balanced in the yak. And Brock, to your point, doesn't feel like he has to do as much, right? He
Well,
doesn't have to push it down the field.
That's
as
what he
hard.
was trying to do last year. He was trying to play hero ball. He was getting out of the pocket.
Yeah,
Yak comes from getting the ball off on time.
correct.
Take your 3, 5, 7 steps, get the ball off, and let the guy go. Brock was running around waiting for guys to get open. So as a result, you don't get a lot of yak. Yeah, you get these exciting completions, but they wanted to stay in the pocket, stay like he did, like you talked about,
Yeah.
Sid, a couple of years ago, when he stayed in the pocket and, and
Just
delivered the ball.
distribute.
Exactly. Just be that point guard that can get the ball to the guys and let them go. I mean, you got McCaffrey, and they need to find a way to spell McCaffrey.
100%.
You know, this Black kid's supposed to be quite a player. I didn't see him much in Indiana. So they got to find a way to get that guy through an entire season. And I would, you could play him in the slot and put Black at running back, So there's ways to use him and not get him so
And
beat
we know
up.
Kyle's hit on every third-round running back that he's ever drafted.
That's true. That's true.
Not first round.
Oh, you would come up for that.
He's like 0 for 12.
I know.
So this guy is bound to be the one. Book it. Black is back.
I think you bring up some points here, Nick. I like incorporating the rookies in the offense. Okay, Kyle has
He's neglected.
he's
to do
neglected to do that, right? He's always riding the McCaffrey. Like
that. You got to
it's
be
like-
in the doghouse for a while.
For
before
sure.
you can
Yeah,
play.
and you bring up a point like maybe we'll spell McCaffrey a little bit. He did not do a lot of that last couple of years.
No.
Maybe he can do it this year. Maybe he can get these guys involved because obviously this is an older team. McCaffrey, although he's shown some good, signs of staying on the field the last couple of years, but he's inevitable going to get hurt.
Yeah.
If you keep riding him
Well,
like
every running back is.
Yeah.
No.
So
you're rushing for 1,000 and receiving 600. You're just going to take a lot of hits. So they've got. And then what was the kid? Garindo.
Yeah.
What happened?
He's
still on the-
already on pup.
yeah,
Is he really already?
Yeah, he's not going to make the team.
No.
No, he had a great first or second year, and then
First
we haven't
year.
heard him since.
First year he had about 3-4 games.
And he's a guy that can
Stretch.
take those poundings in short yardage.
He's fast.
And I think Black's going to be able to do that also. But there's just some guys that just have disappeared.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of weapons if we stay healthy, right? I mean,
Right.
I think you can say that for every NFL team, but the Niners have really made that their kind of motto here. We
Well-
got to stay healthy. We've got a lot of weapons if that's going to be the case.
And there's a lot. And Brock's the best at throwing the ball over the middle, layering the ball over the middle. And they just don't take advantage of the outside of the field.
right.
And we need more of that, I think, also, which will open up the middle.
That's
Just
supposed
throw-
to be Ayuk, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was.
So now
Great
it's
point.
Evans.
Great point. So
Are we gonna transition to an Ayuk breakdown by all of us? Although this is one of the craziest stories. So let's start with you, Nick, on Brandon Ayuk. What is your
Here's
feedback?
my question: is Brandon Ayuk ever going to play in the NFL again?
he might not
I would
because
say no.
the way he handled this and on social media. He's a Rockland kid, isn't he?
He went to Sierra College.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
But even who was the assistant GM here is now with the Commanders. Peters.
Yeah,
He was high on him, and it
they're not
becomes
touching him.
well, it becomes
No.
tampering the way he did it on social media. He said, "Oh, I'm just going to Jaden Daniels."
Well, he just also doesn't get it.
no,
Dude, you have to apply for reinstatement
yeah, exactly. And
to play in the
Yeah,
NFL,
he hasn't
even
even
if
done
we can't cut you because you're AWOL.
right,
Yeah.
right,
Even you're saying Niners need to cut me. Niners are cowards,
right.
brother. We can't cut you.
Well, he got a big bag. I think he's gotten about 28 mil, but he gave up about the equal amount of money. I've never
And
seen
I
anybody.
Didn't even
I've never
contest it. You think how much money do you think's in his bank account?
I guarantee you like
I know.
$5.
I know.
I bet he has credit card debt right
I
now.
guarantee it. Yeah.
Call me. I'll get you a
I've
HELOC.
never seen a pro athlete drop a bag of money like he did. It's just insane.
He fumbled.
I mean, literally,
Fumbled.
all he needed to do was just show up.
Yeah.
He could have just like showed up and like sat in the corner.
He could have
Like
showed
all
up
these
and
running
done
backs did.
nothing.
But
Yeah.
he and Kyle have always clashed.
For
Always.
sure.
And, they were complaining, the 49ers, that he's not rehabbing at the 49ers facility. Boza, Kittle, McCaffrey, all rehabbed in Nashville, Miami, and Southern California. So it was like a double standard for IU.
Yeah, but the difference was they got permission. They you
Right.
know what I mean? They
Right.
went about it
But
a certain way.
What does that say about the 49ers training staff? Maybe you're going to find your own guys that are going to get you
Well,
healthy.
I think all these guys, especially how much you mentioned they get paid these days, they got their own personal trainers that they
Right.
like. They like being the
Feel
comfort of their own
comfortable
home.
with. Right.
Right? They like all of that stuff. But Ayuk has shown nothing in the past to give him any of that warranty to go out and figure it out, right? I mean, and now it seems like, I hate to say this, but he's got to have something mental going on.
100%.
Like with the-
CTE, man.
Some
I'm a
of
little
these, I don't
worried.
know.
And on top of that, can he play? We don't
Yeah.
even know
Yeah,
after
yeah.
that knee
He's been on
injury.
the field in years.
Nobody's seen
Yeah.
him on the field. So he could get through all this, Washington, whatever, and it turns out he can't play.
Well, and Washington's got a really good team. I think, Daniels will be back a little bit this year. He's hurt a little bit last year. I think they got a really good team. Nobody wants to bring that into their locker room,
No.
right? Especially if you're, maybe you take a flyer on them if you're like lower level
Right.
potentially, but the
I
Washington.
mean, you look at a guy like that's proven they can play right now. AJ Brown, team's like, yeah, we're going to take him in because we know what we're getting. To your point, Mike, we've never seen the guy play football in 3 years, and we know you're an idiot. So, what are we really going to gain here? I mean, he
was just
He
trying to
needs
stay
some help.
relevant because he was falling off
Sure.
the map.
Sure.
So he does this speeding by the stadium thing, and it's just the things he did.
he
on
even
social
had
media.
some comments about Kyle and the crash. It's
Right.
just like,
Yeah, it's
dude.
just.
And we brought up Debo a little bit earlier. Like, even though Debo probably, he wanted to go get paid, he did sit out, right, to get his kind of bag, if you want to call it. But all his videos this offseason were him working out,
Right.
trying to get into shape. I mean, it just shows you if you try to do that, at least somebody will sign it. I mean, and by all accounts, Debo had no other offers
No.
Yeah.
but the Niners.
And he'd been talking to him for a while. So
Yeah.
they were thinking about bringing him back in from the get-go, I think. So because he was a dynamic player because of what he could do.
Sure.
He can run
We just
the ball.
need a little yak out of Debo.
Well, that's it. And that's pretty much what he gave the
Catch some
49ers.
slants.
Or the quick screens like they did,
Yeah.
the sweeps.
Right.
So that's back in the offense. And I think, generally speaking, all 49er fans are glad Debo's
For sure.
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and I think, he brings a little swagger to the team.
Right,
I think that does help, him
Right.
and Trent.
him and Trent.
I
Hey,
think
we didn't even talk about Trent with a 2-year extension signed early in the offseason this year.
He's
So,
going to 40 and he's done.
did like that,
Yeah.
though. We didn't have any holdout
Right.
contract drama at all this offseason, which is new for
Yeah.
the Niners.
And he won't practice. He'll practice one day a week during training camp.
Sure.
And won't play in the games.
But shows up,
Yeah.
helps out.
And, he knows what you don't have to worry about him. So
Yeah.
no, he's a cornerstone. There's no question. And that's another thing. They got to start developing that offensive line too.
They drafted 2 linemen,
Right.
signed 2 free agent offensive linemen. I think the that right guard position is wide open. There's a ton of guys in camp competing for that. So, that's another big kind of question mark going in.
A big research brain on this.
Kyle doesn't care, man.
This is like
Kyle doesn't
preseason.
care.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got the research going.
Yeah.
Mike, you didn't get the
I
memo. that we're
follow
supposed
this
to do
team,
some,
guys.
Yeah,
I follow
research.
this team.
So, okay, well, I think we've brought up some really good points with the Niners. I think we're going to, obviously it's good to be back, guys. We're
Oh,
going to
it
be
is.
on, the weekly telecast here and podcast. Man, I don't know how many people on the street are asking when we're coming back. So finally our episode is here. And I think next time we're going to come on, we'll break down the 49ers schedule, right? Look at the schedule and check everything out. And then we'll check out the rest of the NFL and see what
We got to make
we
Super
think.
Bowl picks, right?
Well,
Come
yeah.
on.
And I hate that first game in Australia. I'm sorry.
Well-
But they come back with 3 straight home games.
Yeah.
All right. But it just throws you out of rhythm.
Well, that takes away
Even
a
Kyle
home game
bitched about
because
it.
SoFi was a home game for us too. You forget, right? So that's why the Rams did that. The Rams forced
Oh,
the
that's
Niners
right,
to be
that's
their
right.
opponent,
Yeah.
so that they didn't have to face the Niners at
At
SoFi.
Oh, wow.
That's
Okay.
that's
Good
another
point.
thing we can bring up in our next meeting here is the NFC West, which looks pretty strong again this year.
Aaron Donald's coming back.
Yeah, so we got a lot of topics coming up. So I think we're
I
gonna
might work out. Maybe Kyle needs me over the middle. Got these receivers
Yeah,
hurt.
you could
I
do
could
that.
get in the slot.
They need a white guy to move the chains.
That's right.
There you are.
I don't
Yeah.
think I could. My body can't take it. Everything hurts when I sprint.
Yeah, you're watching AAU baseball.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, so.
So look forward to our upcoming season. All I know is the dog days of summer. It's good to have some football back, even though if it's training camp.
It's here.
I am ready.
Highlights are out.
Yeah.
I can't imagine being in training camp in Rockland where they used to be in this 104 degree.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So
All right. We'll
We'll
see you
see you out
next
there.
week.
take care.